A couple of weeks ago, Jeremy from Pwnage joined us on Good Game. Fans of the mockumentary will know that episode 12 of Pwnage was released on the internet yesterday.
But with one big addition, credits. That's right, Jeremy and Cole have revealed their true identity. And I'm pleased to say they're both joining us. Jarrett and Jeff, welcome back to Good Game.
Yeah,
Thank you.
So guys, take us back to the beginning. How did it all begin?
Well, it started with this is a story that we've told our fans in TeamSpeak interviews and on the website and in the forums. We've it's a true story. I just borrowed a camera from the University of Toronto Library, and I wanted to test some editing software on my computer, and so I got together with Jarrett, and that day I was shooting a bunch of footage of buildings and a few other things, and so Jarrett. On that day, actually happened to be wearing a bandana and an Uber Gamer shirt.
It's my favorite shirt.
Yeah, it was his favorite shirt at the time, and and we also happened to be playing a lot of Command and Conquer General Zero Hour, and we would talk about the strats, and we would over lunch we'd get together for lunch all the time, and it was all about Zero Hour. We would be talking about the game. We were really into it. We were playing, with some very competitive matches at the time, and we were very involved with the CNC Replays community. So anyway, I had the camera, and I wanted to shoot some test footage, and Jared came up with this character that was based on people he had interacted with on the forums in the CNC Replays. That kid, I think Jared explains it best, the origin of Jeremy. But, he just did this little speech about Zero Hour, and shot it from a few angles and edited it up into a preview for a show that didn't exist. And we got such a great positive feedback from the preview that we decided we had to make episode 1, The Life of a Pro Gamer. When
did you realize you had a hit on your hands?
I don't think there was one specific moment that we sat back and said, wow, it happened. After the first episode, I remember we were in Jeff's room, Jeff's dorm room, a very tiny little room, ended up being sort of our central command room, where we hashed all our ideas and then sort of did all the editing and all the audio and stuff like that. And I remember we had about 200 to 300 people download the preview, and that made us really excited. I was doing stand-up comedy at the time, and to have 200 to 300 person audience was a really big night. That was something that I would have been very nervous for and very excited to have that opportunity. So when we made this show and we realized that I basically just performed in front of this audience, it started to dawn on us, this sort of power of the distributing on the internet. So we went ahead and we made episode 1 because it was being demanded of us by this community. And then when episode 1 was downloaded about 1,200 times, we started to learn about the viral nature of content on the internet. And we went forward and we made episode 2. And when it was downloaded about 4,000 times, I think it was then that we started to realize that this is something that we couldn't treat just as a side hobby, but something that we should really put a lot of focus and thought into. And I think it was then that we really sat down, we really started writing and planning out what was going to become Pwnage, this series. And I think ever since then we just had the utmost confidence that it would succeed. We thought we had great content, a great understanding of the culture, and we just put our noses down and put a lot of work into it. And here we are at episode 12.
Do you make a living from Pwnage now?
Yes, it was. We started generating income from this project at around episode 4, is when we started selling shirts. We bought some Ion Noob shirts and some Pwnage logo shirts, and we weren't sure if they were going to sell or not. We were investing our own money, and the show was literally zero budget. The first 2 episodes were shot on a camera borrowed from the library, so we really had no money to put into the show. And around episodes 5 and 6, we started having a little bit of a budget, and you can tell. Obviously, episode 9, we started shooting with the new camera, the Canon XL2, which was just made the quantum leap in the quality of the show. And at episode 10 was when we finally, all of us, were going full time. I quit my day job, which I was a student. And now I'm no longer in school. I'm working full-time on Pwnage, and Jared is also working full-time. And we have a staff at the Noob store that fulfill our orders. So, it's a real functioning business, and it's great to make the show. It used to be our hobbies, and now it's our jobs.
Now tell us about your real-life gaming. What are you into now?
I'm very excited for the next gen systems that are coming out. It's one of those great times. But every 6-7 years we get this next gen console release, and it's really exciting right now because the Nintendo Wii is coming out, and Nintendo again is going to redefine, I hope, how people interact with the games they play. I mean, it's funny. I meet a lot of young gamers now because of the show, and I wasn't aware, I guess, because of my slightly older generation, that Nintendo isn't seen in the same light that the modern generation sees them in. But anyone that's my age, we go back a ways with Nintendo. Nintendo really brought us the 2D scroller that like with Mario Brothers, that sort of redefined how those games were made. And even with Mario 64 on the 64, they brought us the platformer, and they're constantly redefining with the analog stick, the rumble, whatever. They're sort of innovators, and I'm really excited about what they'll be doing with the Wii. And at the same time, the PS3 is really pushing photorealism, and apparently they've surpassed computers, and games have gotten to this point where it's hard to tell from a distance if you're watching a real football match or if you're watching FIFA on the Xbox 360. And and of course then they're all online and they're all connected. So I'm extremely excited for that. And no games in specific, but just the platforms that the games can be played on is just remarkable. And of course, and I hope Pwnage helps this, and it's part of our vision for Pwnage. But just the amount of people that play games now per capita is a lot higher than when I was in school. And when I was in school, I was kind of maybe a geek or outcast because of my focus on gaming. But it seems to me nowadays that that's changed a lot, and there's people from all sort of classes inside these little social circles in school that are playing it, whether or not you're a jock or a skater or this and that. There's this commonality in that they all love playing games, and I think it's really great just how popular it's become, how big esports have become, and how legitimate it's become to be a cyber athlete, and how big that's going to get, I think, especially in North America and in Europe and Australia in the future. Right now in South Korea it's already enormous, and just the future is just so promising. I'm so excited that I'm alive right now to experience it and even contribute to the success. I just never would have thought of it, and it's really a dream.
What are your plans for Pwnage?
Well, our plans for Pwnage are basically to make 3 seasons. These are our current plans. They're always changing. We're always talking about doing a feature film or whatnot. But really, I think we're going to probably end up doing 3 seasons. The end of season 1 is going to be after episode 12, and we'll probably do another 2 12-episode seasons. We have a story planned, and I think it's going to be a good series. And we don't want to drag it on too long for a few reasons. One of which is, we want to sort of have the series as a whole be a nice package. We don't want to wait till it dries up. And we've got a lot of other ideas we want to get going on as soon as we have the production equipment to make a feature film. We've got a few scripts in mind, and big plans for the future. Basically, what we're trying to do is build a film studio. It's the barriers to entry are so low nowadays with digital technology that it's possible. If we sell enough DVDs, we can start making feature films.
Do you guys ever worry that you might lose the magic? How do you keep it real?
Are you worried that you might lose the magic? How are you going to keep it real?
Well, we're just going to stay true to ourselves because we're going to be working for ourselves. We're going to be making the kind of movies that we want to make, the kind of movies that we want to see, and hopefully we're going to remain very independent, even with regards to distribution. The independent filmmaker nowadays mostly refers to the production of whatever movie they're making, but they still rely on companies to distribute them. With the internet, we could put a feature film online and have it supported by advertising or merchandising the way that we have planned for Pwnage. So we're just going to be very independent and do the things that we want to do.
I think actually we're in a better position than I think a lot of artists find themselves in when they're interested in creating this sort of content, because of the massive barriers Jeff mentioned to actually have your art seen by people, and the people that have control over distributing this content sort of leverage that barrier to become involved creatively in the content that they're distributing, and we, because of the fact that we've circumvented the traditional distribution methods, we have complete control and power over our content, and we speak directly to our audience via the internet, and they have no cards, and there's no one that can step in and ever control the show or change it because of the freedom of the internet right now, So I think we have it really lucky, and I'm not sure, if this sort of thing has actually existed before in such major media in the history of humanity. But it exists right now, and we're very fortunate. And I can tell you that there's no selling out, because we can only be selling to ourselves, because this is our project, start to finish, and there's no way anyone can possibly change that.
Jarrett and Jeff, good luck with all the plans. Thank you for joining us on Good Game.
Thank you for having us. It's been a great time. So thank you, Good Game.
Thank you.
Best of luck.